Good morning. It's John Jenkins. I was supposed to do this a long time ago, but it just so happens that I just passed uh, 500 views on my channel. I should be at about 550 right now, so I was supposed to make a special 500 view video, and I neglected to do that, so I'm going to do that right now. A couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Number one, is that I have discovered that majority of black people are extremely white supremacists, and and you know this applies across the board. It based on the rhetoric, you would say that blacks are all you know holding up the black power, whatever. But I mean, blacks are supremely white supremacists. And if you look at what black people are actually saying nowadays, the only thing that they value is I mean, this goes back all the way to before slavery, when the slaves happily gave over. I mean, when the African natives happily gave over their happily gave over their people to the white man in order to gain some trinkets that they didn't even know how to use. you know, all the way up until the civil rights movement, where Martin Luther King was begging white people to see blacks as equals, begging white people to let our children play with their children, begging white people to let us integrate, uh, begging white people to see us as being just like them. And up until now, where in case you didn't hear the news, uh, the murder rate in Chicago went back up. Uh, it spiked in two. It spiked. They said it was going down, but first it spiked in 2012, the year that Barack Obama was reelected, and now that he's supposedly a lame duck, the murder rate has spiked again this year. This is the last year of his presidency. And I say this because obviously Barack Obama comes from Chicago, things like that nature. So he would have it's part of his lineage, whether he pretends it doesn't exist or not. But that's part of the point is that uh, you know, 500 black people murdered in one year in one city. Murdered in one year in one I, I, Chicago's a one-party city. You cannot be a Republican and be elected in Chicago. Illinois is a Republican state now, but Chicago is a one-party city. Everybody you vote for is a liberal Democrat. So, to have 500, yes, 500 real black people murdered in one year in one city, and no one bats an eye, and people are carrying on like it's cabaret, which is ironic. If you know where people are carrying on like it's cabaret, which is ironic if you know the murder rate in Rio de Janeiro, which is going to be hosting the Olympics this year. And also ironic, Rio de Janeiro beat out Chicago uh, back in 2005, I believe, for the right to host the Olympics this year. And Rio got the most votes, Chicago got the least votes, which is extremely ironic. You'd think that the black murder rate in Chicago would give Chicago a boost in the ILC uh, rankings, but then again, I don't know much about European politics, and that probably sounds really cynical that I would say that. But having been around as long as I have, there's something fishy going on. But to have 500 people murdered in a one party Democratic liberal city in 1 year and nobody bats an eye, but one white cop shoots one black suspect and blacks are up in arms. It's like the only it's like the Trayvon Martin case. It's like uh, a black person's a black I mean a black person could lose 10 or 20 relatives to black gang members, and it's like they just go to the church and say praise the Lord, and we shall overcome. But I mean, one white cop mistakes a black person for a shooter, or one white cop kills a black man in self-defense, and it's the greatest injustice because blacks don't value anything except for white people's opinions of them. And this is evident in every aspect of society. Blacks say, you ain't nothing unless you got the latest Escalade, the latest, and black people have been saying this for generations, which I don't necessarily see as a bad thing, but it's just stating a fact so that we can separate fact from fiction. Is that black people are extremely white supremacists, and the only thing that they value is white people's possessions, white people's ingenuity, white people's opinions of them, and naturally, whites are the most successful. Uh, well, certain groups of white people are the most successful people in world history. So it's only natural that if you want to it, it's only natural that you would want the most successful people in world history to look at you favorably. But the point that I'll get to later on is that a lot of that success is manufactured, and it's not. It doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Sort of like the Enron case, the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the subprime mortgage lending. You know, uh, Basically, it doesn't hold up to scrutiny. And you know, if you've studied the history of physics, the history of business in America, the history, if you study, World War I, World War II, uh, a lot of the success that white people have is manufactured. But that's not the point. The point is that black people are extremely white supremacists, and you know, uh, black people hold every attribute of whiteness up to they put it on a pedestal, and you know so and I'm saying this, but I'm saying this to you, but me personally, I the building that I'm sitting in right now was built by white people back in the 1920s or something, and the TV you see behind me, all the products you see on my dresser, those were built by white people. The table back there was probably built by white people, or white either whites or Taiwanese or Chinese. So pretty much all those products were produced by whites and Asians, and the table back there, the electricity, the electrical wiring that I believe, yeah. I'm using natural sunlight now, so the lights aren't on. But the electricity that's powering this computer, the people who program video recording thing. The people who designed the really small camera that goes into my laptop, they're all white and Asian, so it's pretty it seems pretty hypocritical for me to say that blacks other than me are white supremacists. But you have to be able to separate fact from fiction, and as time has gone on, I've been able to do that. Uh, so I mean, let me know what you think. And are blacks extremely white supremacists? You know, and like I said, 500 black people could go missing. I mean, it the number of people shot in Chicago in 2015 was about 2,500 people. 2,500 people in Chicago have bullet holes from inside in their bodies right now. Uh, you know, uh, 2,500 people in Chicago have bullet holes in them right now. But one white cop shoots at a black man for going at him with a knife, and it's the stop the presses. We need to march in the streets, So, but blacks only value what white people think of them, what white people have, what white people do. So I try to reverse that a little bit, uh, but So if you disagree, leave a comment, whatever, and have a nice day. Bye.